KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Beal.
It is so good to have you join us today for the second part of our series on Do Not Worry. I'm Ann Beal, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Dr. Jim Slaughter.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us today.
And we are having Jim share with us the second half from his book, Master the Anger Within. The second half of the book talks about Stressbusters, Anger Busters, relaxation skills, all this kind of stuff.
What we would like to do is to continue the worry segment that we had been working on. And, one of the things that we had began talking about was
Stress
busters is what I call them, actually. And this chapter in the workbook just has a lot of things that you can do to fight the stress when it starts becoming too much of a problem for you. And these are just kind of go-to things for getting rid of stress on a momentary basis. One would be to be grateful, for example. Gratitudes are something that we think about nearly every day. When we journal, we list things we're grateful for. Sometimes we call them wins, but these are things that basically are blessings that God gives us. And so be grateful. Forgive someone. Count your blessings. Eliminate a toleration.
So a toleration can be things that drain you when you see them. So yesterday, we were at Sam's, and I saw this box of drawer organizers. And I went, and he's like, you need those. I'm like, yeah. So brought them home, and I organized my drawers with oh my gosh, it's amazing. It was amazing. So this morning, when I was going to get my shorts out, it was so great. They were just right there. I had my shorts, my exercise shorts, my running shorts. It was just great because normally it's so frustrating to search through that. So I would get frustrated. You would get frustrated when you're putting clothes away. Like you didn't know where to put my clothes. Basically.
Yeah, sometimes I help put the clothes away, and I just didn't always get them in the right drawer because I wasn't sure which was which.
Right.
This should help. So.
This should help. Yeah.
And I, when it comes to tolerations, I just say that a toleration is something that you've been putting up with for a long time. And it could be a messy garage. It could be messy drawers. It could be just almost anything that you think needs to be done. You think about it, frustrates you every time you walk by it, but you've never quite done anything about it yet. So do that. Yeah. Eliminate a toleration from your life.
So it could be not doing your taxes. It could be a pile of papers on the table that once you remove it, it is amazing when you clean a space, how you feel energized, but because tolerations drain your energy, and removing the toleration increases your energy.
Right, that's exactly right. And the thing you're thinking about, you're talking about the taxes.
Yeah.
When I was teaching this at the college level, I would teach everyone, I would say, there are three main things to do to get rid of stress. Number one, you remove the stressor. And then there are a couple of other things after that if you can't get rid of the stressor.
What's the second one?
The second one is to change the way you think about the stressor. And so that has to do with positive self-talk and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then change the way you live with the stressor.
Yes.
Which are some behavioral patterns that you might need to change.
If you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, but the main thing is if you can get rid of it, if you can remove a toleration, then it's gone, right? The stress is gone. And so what you were talking about was, hey, if you haven't done your taxes yet, and you just worry about that, well, do your taxes. Mm-hmm. Or at least take a step forward. And any step forward tends to help remove the stress that's there immediately. And so there are ways of doing that. And, I use the example of, if you're having trouble keeping up with your money, balance your checkbook if you write checks. If not, then you have to check out your accounts online or something. You have to begin keeping track. And
instead of worrying about the money,
right?
And so, however you do it,
when you begin keeping track, then you're able to take more care about making sure your balance is correct and all that. So
that's eliminating a toleration. Right. How about setting a boundary?
Yeah, setting a boundary is also a really good thing. Most often when we're stressed, it's because we either have these tolerations going on that we're putting up with, or we haven't got very good boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so a boundary, essentially, the way I explain it is a boundary. There are two different types of boundaries. One is what I will or will not allow myself to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is what I will not allow other people to do to me. Most of the time, people think in terms of what they won't let other people do to them because they're tired of being hurt, tired of having people kind of walk on them or whatever, and that's important. But often people don't think about what I will or will not let myself do. I will not, and for guys, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or not, but I will not look at pornography in any way, shape, or form.
So you set a boundary against that.
Yeah, and boundaries have to do with values. I value my family. I value my marriage. Therefore, I will not allow myself to cross this boundary.
Well, and so because I don't want to watch TV in bed or have technology in the bedroom, I remove the TV from the bedroom.
Right.
And I only have it in one room in the house, and that's the only room that we will watch TV in.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I have it in the workout room. So the TV is so we can work out. But part of it is like with the dogs, like up on the porch. I didn't like the dogs coming up on the porch all the time where we were sitting. I didn't mind them being farther out on the stone, but I didn't really want them up on the porch. So we just put a fence there, a little fence there. You can always close it off and make it a sunroom or something, right? But it's just a boundary that I put up to say, no, I don't want you past here. And that's what you can do for yourself. Now, I have a guy, he always says, he works for Homeland Security, and he used to always try to fix people and help his employees and stuff, and he would go way too far and kind of handicap them. And so now when they tell him they have a problem, he goes, oh, okay. And he listens. He goes, I stayed in my lane. I stayed in my lane. You'll be proud of me. I stayed in my lane. He says that all the time. And he'll tell them, stay in your lane. So sometimes he'll catch them helping somebody else doing their job when they need to be doing their own job. And he'll say, you need to stay in your lane. Yeah. That's setting a boundary.
It is setting a boundary, and it's a very, very good one to set. Alcoholics Anonymous has their version of that. They teach their people to clean up their side of the street.
Clean up their side.
All you can do is clean up your own side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your own lane is another way of saying that. And so that's a very important boundary. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting, the research they've done on people that are social activists, they have found that their lives are just in disarray. And they aren't taking care of their own lives. But they get real busy trying to tell other people what to do.
Right.
Even though they haven't even organized their own life. And so the more unorganized their life is, and the more out of control their life is, the more likely they are to be a social activist of some kind.
Yeah,
I thought that was fascinating.
It is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So, setting a boundary, I added change a habit, exercise, take a nap, breathe, talk to yourself, positive self-talk.
So how would you say?
Well, there's so many good ways to do it.
I am bold and stout-hearted.
Yeah.
I am brave and courageous.
I'm capable. I'm competent. I'm good at what I do.
There you go.
That's another one.
I'm priceless.
Or even if you, that was your first one.
That was my first one.
And so, but if you're running up against a problem, or if you run up against something that's hard, and you're really kind of afraid of what's going to happen, a good affirmation would be something like, I can do this. I've got this. I'm going to get through this. Mm-hmm. This will not last forever. Things will change. And so we talk to ourselves positively, and we say those things to ourselves. And when we do that, it's amazing how the brain takes over. And if you're subsidizing that, I'll put it that way, with prayer, God uses your brain to make things happen. It's the most amazing thing. Affirmations make things happen. They make things turn out the way you see them turning out.
So you claim it. You're like when I broke my foot and I was I couldn't do anything for a year. It was like a year. It was a year.
Time.
And I kept saying, this is just a season. I'm going to be great. My foot's going to be great. I'm going to be running in no time. I'm going to be back the way I was in no time. This is just a season. My foot just needs to heal. Instead of trying to go ahead and do things when I shouldn't on my foot because I just felt like I don't want to be this way, or because that's what can happen. Right. Instead, I knew how important my feet were to my livelihood in the future. So therefore, I kept saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay off of it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to take my supplements for my bones, wear my boot, and just take my time.
Well, and it's so easy. Some people victimize themselves, and they see themselves as victim. Can't believe this happened to me. Why do bad things always happen to me? Everything bad happens to me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
And they'll
happened.
talk about every pain that they have.
Right.
Now, I see my mom is on watching, and my mom she never talks about her pain. Even if you ask her if she's ever had trouble, because she's never broken her back. It's crazy what she's had done. She's broken a rib, and she was always still very positive and didn't really talk about it. You call her and ask how she's doing, she didn't go, oh, my back, blah, blah. She never did that.
Yeah.
Yet I will get people that come in and they will talk about everything that's going wrong with them. Instead of sharing their day, they'll talk about each pain. And instead of mindfulness on to be grateful for and what you have and what you can do and all those things that we call mindfulness, being in the moment, they are very mindful of their own pain and focusing on the pain. If you focus on the pain gets worse.
Right, and that you actually create your own stress when you do that. And so, and then it's kind of a cyclical thing, because you complain about your pain, that's all you focus on, that's all you think about. You're creating more stress. The stress creates more pain and actually creates, as we talked about earlier, some diseases that people have, and as Dr. Colbert tells us. So what we're doing is going through what we call stress busters, or sometimes anger busters, because those dark emotions usually go together. So we're talking about some things that you can use as a part of your arsenal to get rid of immediate stress. Take a nap, breathe, talk to yourself, walk away, if you can do that, from a stressful situation.
Change a habit.
Change a habit. Make a good choice.
Exercise, which you talk about all the time.
Yeah, and I may have just skipped over those, and so thanks for helping me pick up on that. But exercise, and here's the funny thing, right? You don't have to go to a gym to exercise. You don't even have to run to exercise. We have a friend who is a personal trainer. He's been on the show a number of times, Thomas Jusayan, and he is one of the most buffed guys we know. Okay, and the way he started out, he started out when he was a kid. His mom wouldn't let him play football or any major sports because she didn't want him to get hurt. Yeah. So he would go into his room, and he would in private and unknown to her, he would work out. But he worked out. I said, "You lift weights or what?" No, she'd hear that. So what I said, "What'd you do?" He said, "I did push-ups." Yeah, so he did calisthenics. He did push-ups. He did sit-ups. He would push up against the wall even. And you can do that anywhere almost, as long as you're by yourself, or if you don't mind looking funny, you can do it anywhere, right? But you can push up against the wall. There's so many things you can do.
They have those stretch bands, the bands that you can buy, that you put your feet underneath them and then you pull up, or you can pull them apart. And so definitely against the wall is much easier than, a push-up off the ground.
Right.
There are lots of things, even pushing up from your seat.
Yeah.
I see my mom doing that. She'll push up from her seat.
Every time we walk in the park, we
stop at a bench.
We stop at a bench, and Ann's always doing push-ups and all that from the bench, and I'm just trying to catch my breath, and she's working out, right?
I'm trying to do my biceps and triceps. I got to get my arms all toned.
So exercise in so many different forms, but that burns the adrenaline. We've talked about that so many times. The reason we feel stressed is because there's adrenaline flowing through our body that shouldn't be there at that time, and so we get rid of that. Best way to get rid of that is to exercise, because that burns adrenaline.
So you put walk away. Now, it's funny because even if the radio or TV is stressing you out, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
Or you can walk away if somebody else is doing it. And so walking away from a stressor removes the stressor.
Right. Which is the number one way to get rid of stress, remove the stressor. And so sometimes we can do that. If an argument is developing with someone that you're with for whatever reason, or run into or whatever, there's nothing wrong with just stopping and saying, this isn't working for me, and you just turn around and walk away. And so there are times when that can be the best approach.
Yeah.
Make money doing what you love. It can be done. Matter of fact, it has been done. consider the story of Jack London. He's one of the highest-paid writers of all time. Authored The Call of the Wild, recently released as a blockbuster movie starring Harrison Ford. Jack grew up in a rough neighborhood in Oakland, poor, uneducated, and a school dropout. As a child, Jack fell in love with the idea of being a writer. The notion that an uneducated, dirt-poor school dropout from Oakland could someday be a published writer was insanity. You know the rest of the story, though. Jack London became one of the richest writers of all time. Discover Jack's secret that allows anyone of any income or educational level to make money doing what they love. Whatever it is you love more than anything else, let's make that your prosperous living. Go right now to discoveringjack.com. That's discoveringjack.com. His secret is free. Just go to discoveringjack.com. Discoveringjack.com.
We are excited to introduce our newest advertiser, Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, I can already hear many of you wincing or crossing your legs, but we've all been trimming and then ouchie, wah. That's why over 6 million men worldwide already trust Manscaped. And now, Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 has arrived. First, you get the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the greatest down there trimmer ever and features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. It's waterproof and has an LED spotlight for a more precise shave. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Get with the program and take your grooming to the next level. Get your Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 and take 20% off and get free shipping with the code USA Radio at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code USA Radio.
Water. It's essential to life, but it's also something that so many of us here in America take for granted. Imagine how different your life would be without access to clean water in your home. What if you had to walk to the nearest creek, stream, lake, or pond to get water? Suddenly, going to work and school wouldn't be an option because you and your children would have to spend your days collecting water. This is the day-to-day reality of most families living in the world's poorest countries. But what if I told you that you can change that reality for just pennies a day? Through our water projects, Food for the Poor is working to meet the need for water in 17 impoverished countries. But it won't happen without you. Incredibly, it only takes $15 to provide a child access to clean water for life. $15. Decades and decades of access to water for a child. Give the life-changing gift of water now. Just text USA Radio to 91999. Text USA Radio, all one word, to 91999.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you overwhelmed with credit card debt and unable to pay your bills? Has your income decreased or have you lost your job? At Credit Card of America, we offer a free, no-obligation consultation to learn how you can cut your payments by up to half and potentially lower your interest down to 0. Credit Card of America is an A+ rated company that will work on your behalf. We've counseled over 1 million consumers struggling with debt just like you. Call now for a free, no-obligation consultation and learn how you can become debt-free. Call 800-291-3818. That's 800-291-3818.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
If you'd like to get better, call Ann right now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal.
Okay, we're back.
What we would like to do is to continue the worry segment for getting rid of stress on a momentary basis. And these are stress busters, right? Making a good choice. Clean the house, straighten the garage, wash the car, mow the lawn, do the dishes, do the laundry. There are reasons why this...
I mean, that could be a toleration. The dishes can be a toleration, just seeing them sitting in your sink. Or laundry can be a toleration.
That's really true.
Plant some flowers.
Yes.
I love this one.
Yeah. We have done quite a bit of that lately, and Ann's been sort of the leader in that. She loves to do that, and And I love it too. Now,
Well, I like to see beauty, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do too.
I do, yeah.
We had a friend that gave us blue indigo plants, and she gave us wisteria.
Wisteria, yeah.
And then I took some things off of that when a couple of family members died. In remembrance of them, I planted 2 wisteria. Now, those bloomed purple.
They did.
They were so cute.
Yeah.
They were so cool. That was just a month ago. We had
Yeah.
all these purple clusters, like bells, like a cluster of bells
Yeah.
of purple flowers. And that was so, because green is very calming. People see our yard and they go, whoa, it's so beautiful. So green is very calming, all the colors of green. And when you add in the flowers, it just brings this beauty to the green that is amazing. And people in our neighborhood, they have an award for the best lawn in our neighborhood. And so we always notice that the people that win have flowers. I mean, their yard's beautiful, but they have flowers.
They have color.
Color, yes. And there are a lot of nice yards in our neighborhood, but if they don't have color, they usually don't win.
Right.
Because color, you just can't beat the beauty of that.
Yeah, it just makes everything really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can be important for to kind of soak up
Yes.
the beauty of your surroundings. And you were talking about meditation a few times ago, and sometimes you can meditate. You don't have to go into a lotus position or begin to let your mind drift into into outer space. You can just sit and enjoy your yard.
Yes.
And I know Ron Neitzel would certainly agree with this, and he would say take a walk in your yard, you know, in your grass. And he was telling me one time, hey, they're asking me if I'd walked in the grass lately, and I hadn't at the time, but now I do a lot because it's so soft and nice, because we followed a lot of his instructions in his Green Wizard's Guide. And so if you're interested in having a great lawn, check out Ron Neitzel's Green Wizard's Guide online.
And the grilling too, because he loves to grill.
Yeah.
Because you have in there,
and that's another one.
real burgers.
Right. Grow some burgers. Pray. Take a walk. Be aware. Play an instrument. And, you know, we've talked about this so many times, but the guys who play the guitar that come to see me,
Yes.
that is the most calming thing for them. And when I ask, I say, so, you know, when the stressors come and hit you, what do you do? Play my guitar. And I said, how's that do for you? Oh, man, it's the greatest thing. He said, and they say, I don't have to be good at it. I just strum it. And it really helps me.
Now, David
did that. He played the harp. And I'll mention some of the things that David did. David had his own Stressbusters.
Yes.
And so when we use things like this, we follow his lead from the scriptures.
I like to doodle, draw, or paint. Because people do doodle on their paperwork for their tests when they're stressed out. They're doodle.
Yep.
So doodle, they've said that doodle is a stress reliever.
It is, for sure.
Even just the smiley face, they say, takes away stress.
Yeah, and if you did nothing but make circles like this on the page, it would begin to reduce your stress.
Yeah.
Draw flowers, just who cares what they look like, you know, stick figures, anything. But that is a great stress
Finger
reliever.
painting that they do for kids is very de-stressing.
That's really true. Now, a lot of people, I'll ask them, I say, what do you do for fun? Do you have a hobby? Things like that. And often people will say, well, I like to draw, or I like to paint. And so things like that are very important for bringing down the stress level. So that's another stress buster, is doodling, drawing, painting. Go away for a weekend. Be assertive. Being assertive just means be assertive. Give something away. Throw something away, which is kind of what I like to do. Ann likes to give it away. I like to
throw away lots of
something
stuff. Let's just get rid of that. I'll be like, well, somebody may need that. And so I'll donate it.
Meditate.
It takes longer. Throwing away is really quick.
We mentioned meditation. Work a puzzle. Recite an affirmation. We've talked about affirmations. Plan a trip.
You know, they say that the planning is the most, like planning a journey or planning a trip, the planning has more endorphins and dopamine than the actual going. That, you know, even if it's planning together, if you do it with friends, or
I can see that.
Planning it is where all the endorphins and excitement comes in.
And there are those chemicals that come up that cause us to begin to feel better.
Yes.
And to feel good. And our body has a number of those, but when we do these things that we're talking about, that can produce those endorphins and release the dopamine and all of those chemicals that make us feel so good.
So relax.
Yep. Relax. Read the Psalms. Recite Scripture. Trust God. Get counseling. Imagine that. Talk to a friend. Journal. Get off testosterone.